I think the biggest confusion for any learner is that where to start, what to do, what to listen, what to read, and what to speak. Hello everyone, my name is Roshan, and on this channel I talk about English learning books and movies. And I guess so far we have discussed about 9 or 10 topics. If you haven't watched any of those videos, visit this playlist. I have actually lost the track of days, so I'm just gonna write it here. Day, and I can add it. Maybe it's the 11th or 12th day. So, the topic my childhood, I don't think it is an alien topic. We all are familiar with the term childhood. It doesn't matter how many videos you are watching or how many words, modern phrases you know. At the end of the day, it is all about practice. So even if you are not able to find partners with whom you can practice, just repeat after me. What I do in the last segment, which I consider the most important section, especially for the beginners, you just have to repeat whatever I am speaking. You can replace some experience, you can replace some words, or simply you can listen and repeat. So, to discuss all of these four things, again, we will have to move in my room and we will start discussing them one by one. So, here we are. And before I start talking about this topic, my childhood, if anyone who is looking to learn English online, they can send me a message on this number or my email ID. I provide one-to-one individual classes and also group sessions. I've got the notes here and I will ask the questions, and this is how we'll practice. Let's start our video with a question. Why childhood is special? And I think this is such an universal question that everyone loves to talk about it. We all have different reasons why our childhood was special, and mostly because of the innocence we had when we were kids. We didn't have to think about our classes, learning English. We just played, went to school, or just had a lot of free time to do whatever we wanted to. There was nothing called self awareness, there was nobody to judge us, and we were really carefree. And this is how you can follow this format to talk about the question. Childhood is a time of wonder, joy, learning, or freedom. It is the phase of life when we are free from worries, responsibilities, expectations, or stress and live in the moment. The world feels like a playground, mystery, adventure, or dream where even the simplest things bring happiness. The next question is, where did you grow up? Well, I was born in Kolkata, but when I was 1.5 years old, my parents moved to Bihar and I grew up in a small village. This is how you can talk about it. I grew up in a small town, a big city, a quiet village, or a lively neighborhood. The place was known for its open fields, friendly neighbors, narrow lanes, or peaceful atmosphere, and it shaped many of my early memories. Next, what were you like as a child? Well, I was a really quiet kid. I remember how I used to sit in a corner of the class, but as I grew up, I started making more friends, and that's when things started to change. I started playing more cricket. I remember how my cousin used to force me to take to the ground and he let me be in his team. So, yeah, I was a very quiet kid, but because of my cousins and my friends, I started talking a lot, and I remember how I was crazy about playing cricket. I was always on the ground, and when I started playing cricket, I became more active. So, yeah, I was that quiet kid who changed into a talkative one. So, this is how you can talk about it. I was playful, curious, introverted, or full of energy. I loved spending time climbing trees, collecting toys, watching cartoons, or reading fairy tales. And I was always asking questions, getting into trouble, helping around, exploring new things. Next, your earliest memory. One of the earliest memories I have is that how I used to sneak out of school. I'm 8 years younger to my sister, so I used to go to her school. We had a small school in our village, so that's where I used to go. That sneaking out is one of the earliest memories, and yeah, of course, playing cricket. This is how you can talk about it in a format. One of my earliest memories is of starting school, playing with a favorite toy, going on a family trip, or celebrating a festival. That moment still feels fresh, warm, funny, or magical whenever I think about it. Next, your favorite things. As a child, of course, I loved playing cricket, but also I was fond of reading Champak, Bal Hans, Nanhe Samrat, all these magazines for kids. I used to ask my neighbors or my cousins, I need these magazines. And I remember how I used to beg my parents to let me go to the market. This is how you can talk in a format. As a kid, I adored my toy train, my drawing book, Sunday cartoons, or evening snacks. I also had a habit of writing my name everywhere, or hiding sweets, imitating teachers, or collecting shiny wrappers. Next, your childhood friends. All of my neighborhood kids were my friends. Sarfraz, Sunil, Sohrab. These guys were from my school and my colony. So these were my earliest friends. This is how you can talk in a format. I had a small group of friends, neighbors, schoolmates, cousins, or playground buddies. We used to race on bicycles, build sand castles, act in imaginary dramas, or share lunch boxes. And those moments felt like treasure, magic, pure fun, or endless joy. Last question. What you miss about childhood? I think I miss everything. Like there was no pressure or there was nothing to care about. Like just play cricket, hang out, eat, play. That's it. Like when I was a kid, there were no phones. We only had a TV, so we could watch one thing at a time. So I really miss those days when we had limited source of entertainment. Just thinking about it, it makes me feel to go to that time and just do all those activities I used to do. This is how you can follow the format. I miss the carefreeness, laughter, excitement, or peace of childhood. Life felt lighter, slower, more colorful, or safer, and everything used to make sense in the simplest of ways. True. So this was some questions related to childhood, and you can follow the format or simply you can come up with your own ideas. Let's move on to the next segment, that is modern phrases related to childhood. I'll read it for you and your job is to make sentences, and if you have any doubt, feel free to leave a comment. The first one, feels like it happened yesterday. When you think about your childhood, sometimes it feels like it was just yesterday, but it's been a long time. Next, a trip down memory lane. It simply means to think about your all good memories of your childhood or of any part of your life. Next, golden days of my life. It simply means the best time of your life. And I think childhood holds a really special place in everyone's life. Back when life was simple, it simply means everything was simple. Just eat, play, and just do whatever you felt like. My little world. It means that we all had some things we really loved doing, playing cricket, reading books, watching TV, or just hanging out with friends. When the biggest problem was homework. When you are a kid, what is the biggest problem? Your homework, right? Next, pure childhood joy. Simply means you enjoy everything, the purest form of enjoyment. The good old days. It is similar to golden days. It means that you are thinking about your past. No worries, just wonders. Simply means curiosity. Instead of worrying about things, we were curious about things. You can use all of these phrases to talk about your childhood. Let's move on to the next segment, that is vocabulary related to childhood. I will just read it for you, and your job is to, of course, make sentences. Nostalgia, carefree, mischief, cherish, wonder, innocence, giggle, naive, explore, bond, impression, treasured, sandbox, sibling, imaginary, spontaneous, reminisce, joyful, sparkle, and escape. Now let's talk about some adjectives to describe our childhood. The first one is carefree, innocent, magical, playful, joyful, memorable, exciting, confusing, wild, warm, fearless, gentle, precious, messy, awkward, silly, creative, relaxed, vibrant, and peaceful. Your job is very simple. Try to use them to talk about your childhood, and if you have any doubt, again you can leave a comment. This is the most important segment of the video where I ask questions to myself and I answer them myself. Your job is also same. If you are able to answer them, you can. Otherwise, you can just imitate me. That's how you learn to talk about something, by imitating others. So the first question is, what childhood habit of yours do you still have today? I guess complaining. I used to complain a lot when I was a kid, and that habit is still with me. And of course, reading a stories book. As a kid, I always loved reading and watching movies. So that's what I do. I read and I watch films. Next, who made you laugh the most as a kid? I guess my cousins. And they used to make me cry also. Because of them, I was bitten a lot, and because of them, I laughed a lot. So my cousins, they deserve the both places. Next, what was your favorite hiding spot when playing games? I used to live with my cousins, so we had a big house, and there I used to always hide behind the trees. I was really small and the trees were big, so hiding behind the trees was my favorite spot. Next, what was the funniest thing you believed as a child? In God? I believed in myself. I believed that God will solve everything. So that's what I used to believe whenever I was in trouble or whenever I had done something. I used to pray like God is going to save me. Next, how did you spend your summer vacations? My favorite spot was to go to my nanny's house, and that's where I used to spend my all summer vacations or any holiday. That was my favorite place. I used to play cricket there, and my nani was lovely. I had great time there because there was a big playground and a lot of cousins, of course. Nani ka ghar. That's where I used to spend my summer vacations. Next, was there a toy you always wanted but never got? We all had big desires, right? I wanted that big expensive car with the remote wali gadi. I got one, but it was not the one I wanted. It still had remotes, but the smaller one. Next, what kind of stories did you enjoy hearing? I loved stories about kings and queens, and my grandfather was a great storyteller. And I always loved to listen to the same story again and again. Next, which childhood rule did you always break? My house was near the mosque, and Maulvi Saab was really strict. He always wanted us to stay silent, stay calm, but we were really loud. Even though he used to beat us a lot, but still we made a lot of noises. Next, what scared you the most as a child? Of course, my school and going to attend Arabic classes. That was the scariest part. But I got used to both of the classes, but boy, it was scary to attend both of the classes. Last question. Which childhood food do you still crave sometimes? I don't know what it is called in English, but my mom used to make pickles of mangoes, but they were really sweet. They were not actually pickles, but they tasted like pickles but sweet. And still, I always ask my mother to cook that food, especially during summer. I will leave the rest of the 10 questions here. You can just practice. And if you have any doubt from today's session, just leave a comment. And if you need additional help, of course, you can send me a message on this number. I provide online classes, one-to-one, and group sessions. If you have watched this far, thank you so much for watching. Please share, leave a like, and if you have any doubt, of course, you can leave a comment. And I'll see you very soon with another topic. Bye.